The news of Diane Keaton's death caused an immediate shock among the public, not only because of the loss of one of the most remarkable figures in cinema, but also due to the feeling that an entire chapter of contemporary culture had come to an end. Diane was always more than an award-winning actress. She represented authenticity, a unique sense of humor, and a way of seeing the world that inspired both fellow professionals and fans who followed her journey for decades. Her on-screen presence combined vulnerability, charm, and an almost magical naturalness, capable of transforming simple characters into unforgettable figures. When we received the official confirmation of her passing, it became impossible not to mentally revisit the richness of her career and the delicate yet firm way she led her personal life. The wave of emotion that spread across social media, and the news was not only born from sadness, but from the collective recognition that someone who touched so many lives, directly or indirectly, had said goodbye. Here we open space to understand the impact of this loss, to relive moments that marked generations, and to understand why the world feels a little quieter without Diane Keaton's light, intelligent presence. Preparing the ground to explore who she was and what her absence represents for admirers and for the history of cinema, please don't forget to leave your like and subscribe after the video, as this helps YouTube understand that content like this is appreciated by many. And if you want to support even more with a super thanks, click below. Your support makes a huge difference for the channel. But if you can't, that's okay. Just don't forget to comment and share your thoughts about this video. Before we say goodbye to the legend Diane Keaton became, it is necessary to go back in time and revisit the journey of a woman whose presence in cinema and popular culture transcended decades and inspired generations. Diane Keaton was born Diane Hall on January 5, 1946, in Los Angeles, California, into a family of mixed heritage combining Irish, Scottish, and German roots. From an early age, she showed a particular interest in the arts and performance, which led her to seek opportunities for creative expression still in her teenage years. Her youth was marked not only by artistic curiosity, but also by a quiet determination to find her own path, far from conventions or external expectations. This search for authenticity shaped the foundation of her career, influencing her role choices, personal style, and the way she related to fame throughout her life. Diane's career began gradually, with small roles in theater and television that helped refine her natural talent. Her training at the Stella Adler Studio of Acting, one of the most respected acting schools in the United States, was decisive in consolidating her artistic vision and the discipline she would carry throughout her entire career. This phase of learning and experimentation on stage and TV during the 1960s paved the way for Diane to take on more complex and remarkable roles in the early 1970s, roles capable of combining intelligence, subtlety, and an emotional vulnerability that would become her trademark. The turning point in her career came with her iconic partnership with director Woody Allen. The film Annie Hall 1977 was a watershed moment, not only cementing Diane as an actress of exceptional talent, but also shaping the image the public would come to associate with her. Sophisticated, funny, slightly eccentric, and profoundly human. Her performance earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress for Annie Hall 1977, solidifying her position as one of the most influential artists of her generation. The character she played was not merely a role in a script. It was an extension of her own personality, the blend of vulnerability and intelligence, the spontaneous charm, the authenticity that seemed to radiate from every gesture and glance. The impact of this role transformed her career, but also brought a new challenge, balancing sudden fame with her desire to remain true to herself without losing her way in the traps of stardom. In the years that followed, Diane Keaton became synonymous with versatility in cinema. She moved effortlessly between comedies, dramas, and independent films, winning over not only audiences, but also critics. Works such as Manhattan, 1979, again with Woody Allen, and Terms of Endearment, 1983, demonstrated her ability to portray profoundly human characters whose emotions and conflicts were felt by the audience as if they were their own. Each role she embraced seemed filled with a rare sincerity that connected viewers to stories of love, loss, joy, and discovery in a deeply genuine way. In addition, Diane always maintained a creative stance behind the scenes, collaborating in project production, choosing scripts carefully, and keeping a critical eye on narrative structure and character development. This combination of talent, discernment, and authenticity ensured she was not only a successful actress, but also an icon of artistic integrity. Diane Keaton's personal life also played an important role in shaping the public's perception of who she was. Known for her independence, unique style, and captivating personality, Diane built a public image that balanced charm and reserve, keeping intimate aspects of her life out of the media spotlight. Her relationships, often targets of speculation, were handled with delicacy, and she consistently demonstrated an admirable ability to protect her privacy and live according to her own rules. This balance between visibility and discretion became a hallmark of her life, proving that it was possible to be a beloved and respected public figure without sacrificing authenticity. Beyond acting, Diane Keaton also left her mark in the worlds of fashion and photography, becoming recognized for her iconic style that combines sobriety and originality in an elegant and timeless way. Hats, tailored suits, and an irreverent posture became symbols of a woman who defied conventions yet remained true to herself. This ability to innovate and influence without following pre-established standards is part of what makes Diane Keaton remembered as a singular personality whose presence is felt not only on screen, but in culture as a whole. In cinema, Diane's trajectory was marked by constant evolution. She never settled for repeating successful formulas. She sought roles that challenged her abilities and expanded the limits of cinematic narrative. This pursuit of continuous growth reflected a life devoted to art and personal expression. Throughout her career, she received numerous nominations and awards, solidifying not only her technical skill, but also the lasting influence of her work on colleagues, critics, and audiences. Before the news that shook fans and admirers, Diane Keaton was above all a woman who had conquered the world with authenticity, intelligence, and a rare sensitivity. Her journey illustrates not only the evolution of an actress, but also the story of someone who always kept her own pace, respected her choices, and transformed each stage of life into learning, beauty, and inspiration. The world before her passing is marked by the impact of her art, by the charm and strength of a personality that remained unique and irreplaceable, leaving a legacy that will be remembered for generations. Revisiting this phase is essential to fully understand how much Diane Keaton meant to cinema, to culture, and to everyone who found inspiration in her genuine, elegant, and eternally charismatic presence. However, the decline in her health, according to reports, seems to have been relatively sudden, something that caught many fans and even people close to her by surprise. As disclosed by the family, she had been battling bacterial pneumonia in the days leading up to her passing. Sources such as the Los Angeles Times confirmed that she died at her home at the age of 79, and the family statement mentioned a sudden downturn in her condition, something that had not been widely noticed or publicly announced until then. The official documentation, according to reports, did not indicate any other significant conditions besides pneumonia as the cause of death. This private decline generated a great deal of speculation. The family chose to keep many details away from the spotlight, and this silence naturally gave rise to theories. Some reports say that even close friends were not fully aware of how serious the situation had become, which only deepens the mystery for the public. This discreet approach reflects Diane's own personality well, always very reserved about her personal life, despite being such a recognized and beloved figure. But before this reported passing, false rumors about her death had already circulated on social media, something that, unfortunately, is relatively common among veteran celebrities. According to fact-checking outlets, one of these rumors gained traction due to a misinterpretation of a speech by Meryl Streep, in which she mentioned Diane emotionally during an award ceremony. That excerpt went viral out of context, and many social media users used the false narrative to mourn the actress even before any confirmation. There are also more serious reports saying that the origin of the confusion may have been a fabricated website that imitated the layout of trustworthy news outlets to spread the false story of Diane's death. These types of hoaxes, unfortunately, spread quickly, especially in online communities that share sensational news without verification. Specialized media warned that there was no confirmation from official sources at the time, and that the news of her death was not initially reported by major reputable outlets. Amid the escalation of the rumor, Diane Keaton's representatives spoke out to deny it. According to interviews and compiled statements, the actress's agents affirmed that she was alive and well, rejecting the false reports. These denials were essential in calming part of the online hysteria, although the confusion left many fans uneasy. When a negative story goes viral with great force, it's not uncommon for some people to doubt even official communications. However, the scenario changed drastically when the family officially announced her death, which added a very real layer to what many still believed was only a rumor. After the confirmation, the cause, pneumonia, was disclosed, giving the rumors a different weight. It was no longer mere misinformation but an actual passing. This triggered a wave of shock among those who had already been warned to beware of hoaxes, precisely because this time there was a real basis behind the news. Yet even after the official confirmation, some people remained skeptical or pointed out contradictions, which fueled new conspiracy theories. According to the website MediaMass, there are those who claim that Diane Keaton is still alive, citing reports of supposed sightings, witnesses saying they have seen her in public places, and even videos on platforms like YouTube claiming that undeniable proof of her being alive is circulating. This type of conspiratorial narrative goes against the family's announcement and reveals how, in the age of misinformation, not everyone accepts the end of such a beloved legend or simply struggles to process a real loss. From an emotional perspective, this whirlwind of rumors, confirmation, and post-mortem denialism highlights how the relationship between the public and celebrities can be complex. When someone so iconic passes away, grief is not always linear. Some reacted with genuine sadness, others with disbelief, and many see this situation as a reminder of the importance of verifying sources before spreading sensitive news. At the same time, the very reserved way in which the family handled the passing reinforces the intimate nature of Diane's farewell. She, who so often celebrated the value of privacy, leaves with an aura of mystery, leaving behind not only cinematic memories, but also lingering questions for her most dedicated fans. The confirmation of Diane Keaton's cause of death marked a moment filled with a profound blend of relief, grief, and reflection. After days of speculation and sadness, the actress's family issued an official statement revealing that Diane passed away on October 11, 2025, at the age of 79 due to pneumonia. The announcement expressed gratitude for the countless messages of affection and support received from fans, friends, and colleagues during such a painful time. The family suggested a way to honor Diane. Instead of sending flowers, they asked people to make donations to animal shelters or local food banks, causes that were very close to her heart. More details emerged through the death certificate obtained by the press. According to the document, the immediate cause of death was primary bacterial pneumonia, and no other significant conditions contributing to her passing were identified. The certificate also reveals that Diane had been fighting the infection for several days prior to her death, suggesting that the deterioration happened relatively quickly. Surprisingly, the document also states that she was cremated a few days later, on October 14th. The choice of cremation was mentioned in the context of confirming the death, a final discreet gesture aligned with the actress's private nature, as she valued privacy even in life. According to reports, the family not only emphasized their gratitude for the messages received, but also reaffirmed the causes that defined Diane's life. She loved animals deeply and was a strong supporter of people experiencing homelessness. By requesting donations to animal shelters and food banks, the family expressed hope that her passing might continue to resonate through acts of solidarity and compassion, reinforcing her human legacy beyond the screen. Close friends have spoken about how unexpected her health decline was. According to accounts, colleagues noted that Diane appeared more fragile in recent weeks. A friend, Carol Bayersager, mentioned that she noticed Diane had lost a lot of weight during their last meeting, which left her stunned. The speed with which everything happened, the infection, the hospitalization, the passing, shocked even those who had known her for many years, as Diane had always been seen as someone with a vibrant spirit and strong inner resilience. Despite the widespread love and public attention for her legacy, the family chose to keep many intimate details private. In their statement, they requested privacy, emphasizing that in her final days, Diane was surrounded by those closest to her, far from the spotlight. This choice reflects Diane's personality well. Even as a hugely public figure, she always valued moments of introspection, authenticity, and silence. It is important to note that international media outlets reported the news with great respect. Outlets such as Sky News highlighted the family statement and Diane's lifelong dedication to supporting social and animal-related causes. European media also documented the medical confirmation of the cause of death, as well as the family's suggestion for donations made in her memory. From a human perspective, the official confirmation of the cause of death puts an end to much of the speculation and brings a painful yet clear truth. Diane did not pass away due to Hollywood drama or conspiracy theories, but from a real infection, one that is treatable in many cases, but can be fatal, especially when health is weakened or the infection progresses aggressively. This outcome highlights the vulnerability of a woman who seemed immortal to many, a powerful reminder that life, however brilliant, is finite. The way the family handled everything, the discreet announcement, the request for donations, the focus on the causes Diane cared about, reveals something profound about her legacy. It is not only her art, her films, or her iconic style that matter, but also her values, her generosity, and her compassionate connection to the world. By confirming the cause of death, they not only closed a chapter but also pointed toward a path through which her memory can continue to live actively through concrete acts of love and solidarity. What remains after Diane Keaton's departure is, above all, a profound sense of inspiration and admiration, a reminder that her impact transcended movie screens and spread across generations of viewers, artists, and admirers of her authentic life. Diane's legacy is not limited to her memorable performances or the awards she accumulated throughout her career. It resides in the way she shaped her personal and artistic journey, always guided by an innate sense of authenticity, curiosity, and courage. Even for those who never watched one of her films, the name Diane Keaton evokes an image of independence, singular style, and sensitivity, qualities she embodied both on and off the stage and screen. Her path through cinema, marked by iconic roles such as Annie Hall, Kay Adams in The Godfather, and Louise Bryan in Reds, shaped a perception of what it means to be a complete actress, capable of moving between comedy, drama, lightness, and emotional depth without losing her identity. Every character portrayed by Diane carried fragments of her own essence, a touch of humanity that allowed audiences to connect with her almost instantly and profoundly. Diane Keaton's legacy also extends to the way she challenged norms, whether in fashion, professional posture, or personal life. Her androgynous style with ties, hats, and blazers not only defined an iconic trend in the 1970s, but also inspired a broader vision of aesthetic freedom and personal expression. More than clothing, it was an assertion of personality, autonomy, and courage to break away from predetermined expectations about what a woman could be, wear, or represent. This aesthetic boldness was mirrored in her approach to work. Diane did not confine herself to safe roles or tested formulas. She sought characters that challenged her, that explored the nuances of the human condition, that allowed her to laugh and cry, that displayed vulnerability and strength at the same time. This artistic and personal courage leaves behind a legacy of authenticity that continues to inspire actors, filmmakers, and admirers today, reminding us that an artist's value lies not only in technique, but in the ability to remain true to oneself. Moreover, Diane Keaton left an indelible mark on cinematic culture as a model of professionalism, intelligence, and humanity. Colleagues often described her as a presence that elevated any production, whether through the depth of her performances or the way she treated her peers, the technical crew, and her fans. She managed to balance humor, discipline, and empathy, creating a respectful and collaborative work environment. This attitude influenced an entire generation of actors and actresses who came to understand that artistic talent must walk hand in hand with ethics, respect, and generosity. In interviews and public statements, Diane consistently expressed concern for the integrity of cinema and for the responsibility of telling stories that genuinely touch people, reinforcing the belief that art can and should provoke reflection, emotion, and social transformation. Another important aspect of a legacy that remains is Diane's contribution to female narratives in cinema. Over decades, she starred in films that placed women at the forefront, exploring the desires, fears, dilemmas, and achievements of complex, intelligent, and real female characters. This representation helped broaden the horizons of filmmaking and create space for other actresses to explore richer, more challenging roles. Spiritual heirs of Diane Keaton in modern cinema. Young artists who follow her style, honesty, and sensitivity frequently cite her as a direct influence, acknowledging that her courage to be different opened doors for greater diversity and authenticity in female representation. Beyond her artistic impact, Diane also left a legacy of compassion and social engagement. The actress consistently supported causes related to animal rights, education, and inclusion, encouraging fans to take part in meaningful actions as well. Her own family reinforced this side of her by suggesting donations to animal shelters and food banks in her honor, showing that her influence extended far beyond the screen and could be translated into concrete acts of kindness and solidarity. This social commitment makes her legacy twofold, not only through her art, but also in the way she promoted values of empathy, awareness, and responsibility on a global scale. Finally, the after of Diane Keaton, the legacy that remains, is also a reflection on memory and the way great artists live on in the imagination and in the hearts of people. Her films continue to be watched, studied, and appreciated, and her story inspires new generations to seek authenticity, courage, and sensitivity in everything they do. Each performance, each interview, each gesture of generosity composes a continuous narrative of life and impact, reminding us that the true worth of a legend is measured not only by immediate recognition, but by the endurance of their influence and the transformative effect they have on people. Diane Keaton, in her farewell, left not only longing, but a living legacy that continues to inspire, move, and teach the importance of being true to oneself, fighting for one's convictions, and looking at the world with empathy, humor, and intelligence. The world before and after Diane Keaton is not merely a timeline. It is a profound shift in how we perceive cinema, style, authenticity, and generosity, a constant reminder that some lives, even when they end, continue to shine in a unique and unforgettable way.